And the Moonraker goes and steals people's ships in space, 'cause Drax is a weird villain wanting to wipe out the planet and live in space. Um, yeah, Moonraker coming out 2 years after The Spy Who Loved Me. Moonraker is definitely one of the more absurd Bond films. Bond in space. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, everyone was going into space in the 80s, science fiction, all that. So at some point, you were going to get Bond in space. But did we need to have Bond in space? Bond is Bond. Bond doesn't need to be in space. Come on. Uh, uh I mean, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Bond's not in space until later on. But at the same time, you like they walk around in like the space station, like generally like there's gravity in there when there's not. I I like it is definitely one of the more absurd in premise, but in terms of the overall movie and what's leading us to um what's leading us to that whole absurdity, like doing it in space and zero G's with Dr. Goodhead. Um, I mean, uh, I mean, it's not a terrible movie. It's definitely got some memorable moments to it. Moore is still very good in the role at this. I mean, I'm afraid, again, I don't like him more that much, but in terms of what Moore brings to the role, he's pretty solid. Um, but uh, he, it's one of those ones where I always get a weird vibe watching the movie, and I think that is partly due to Drax's villain, who is clearly this eccentric millionaire, billionaire, whatever, eccentric rich guy, playing playing straight off of Bond, who this gentleman, because Bond is also portrayed by Roger Moore, a very gentlemanly character. So it is very much like aristocrat versus aristocrat in many ways. And I don't know, something about that seems a little, yeah, if I'm going to be frank. Not that it's terrible, it's just seems weird to me. Um, but I mean, Hugo Drax though is, despite the fact that he is very just kind of very soft, calm, very intelligent spoken, very very polite and still villainous. There is some sort of weird appeal to him. He's still, obviously he's planning to poison the world or kill off the population. He's um he's trying to like create his Eden, if you will. So he is weird in that sense, definitely. This is also the movie that showed off a bit more of like gadgets a little bit, particularly the dart gun, which was actually one of the more useful gadgets we ever saw in the series. Um, because it would actually aided Bond so a couple times. It helped him in the, oh god, what is that called? The G-Force creator. Helped him out in that, which that's an intense scene, by the way. That's like actually a really good Bond scene where he's stuck in that thing. He helps him kill the Python, which was weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, not weird in the sense that hey, the snake was real, like except for like when he killed that snake was fake. But when he killed, but this Python, the reticulated Python, was real, and Bond had to fight it. Um, that was just like you don't see Bond fighting an animal very often. You think about that for a second. You really don't see him fighting an animal very often. Like when we get to Octopussy, there's a few moments of that, but not much. And apart from that, like the sharks, he's not really fighting a shark in Thunderball at all. Um, he's he's more just like trying to avoid them. And this one, he actually has to fight an animal. Like he never has to fight a dog really at all, or a lion, or a bear, or anything like that. So it does come off as weird when he actually had to fight an animal for a change. When you do things that the Bond doesn't normally do, it comes off as odd to me. Like interacting with a kid, that's weird for Bond to do. Interacting with an animal, that's weird to do. But at the same time, like we saw that Drax trained his dogs to be extremely obedient, and have no problems ripping people apart, ripping people apart as he did with the which Bond girl was it? Cornine Clary, or Chlorine Dufour. I think that's the Bond girl that gets ripped apart by the dogs. Um, so I think don't quote me on that per se. Um, so I would have that would have been at least more entertaining to see than the snake's entertaining again, but it is odd. We do get a pretty good not boat chase. Although there is a boat chase, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the Roger Moore films blend a lot more together than the Sean Connery. Like the Sean Connery ones, I can really pick out individual things in each movie. The Roger Moore ones tend to blend a bit to me. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm not as big a fan of Roger Moore is that he doesn't leave a distinct impression in each of his movies as Sean Connery did. But it's still, I mean, we see Bond do some action sequences. Nothing really that impressive. Like there's a cute little boat sequence in Venice. I just kind of laugh like everyone's just trying to kill him. There is a fun scene I like where they're shooting at quail and say, take your shot. And the one guy's going to shoot him and he shoots and tries like, you missed the quail. And then the guy falls out of the tree dead. It's like, did I? Excuse me. So yeah, ultimately it's one of those things where I like Moonraker. Definitely I do. But it's one of the hokier Bond films. Hell, Holly Goodhead is a solid Bond girl. I'd say a solid Bond woman. Again, she's one of those Bond women who can fight for self-defense. Because she's, she is not CIA, but I think she was CIA, if I'm not mistaken. And therefore she can kind of go toe to toe with Bond a little bit. Definitely, just crack my neck there. But I don't know. It does fall on the shorter side of Bond movies for me. Like it would be in my bottom 13 as opposed to my upper 13. But it is what it is. You're not gonna like them all. Ultimately, though, Moonraker falls in a nice little kind of okay range for me. I don't think any Bond film is truly terrible. Even my least favorite one is not truly terrible. There's good things in all the Bond films. Just fix my hair up there a bit. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said this is one of the lesser ones, definitely. But what do you think? You think Moonraker is a good movie, a bad movie, great movie, a terrible movie, or an okay movie? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want notifications. Till then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.